These are the most unbelievable celebrations in Formula One. Like Fernando Alonso. At the 2012 Italian GP, he started from 10th place, but pulled off a spectacular race and finished third. That's when one of the most unforgettable moments of the day happened. And if Alonso wanted to capture the celebration himself, Hamilton did something that few would dare. During the podium celebration at the Russian Grand Prix, he ended up spraying champagne on Putin.
And now, gentlemen, the champagne!
Okay, I know it was by accident, but we can't say the same about our next case. After winning the 2015 Chinese GP, Hamilton stepped onto the podium to celebrate, but when it was time to pop the champagne, he ended up spraying it right into a woman's face on the podium. At the time, the gesture went unnoticed by some, but not by the international media, which heavily criticized the driver. And man, how can we not talk about Nico Hulkenberg? After 13 years racing in Formula One, Nico finally achieved something that seemed impossible: his first podium. It took 239 races without making it to the top 3, the longest drought in the history of the sport. And when he finally did it, it was an explosion of emotion, both on the radio with the team and off the track with friends and even other drivers.
Podium, 23 baby. I don't think I can comprehend what we just done. Oh my god.
He's had success the Le Mans 24 hours.
So we've got Norris, Piastri and Hulkenberg, who gets his first podium. So well done.
No way.
Yeah, so well done to him.
That's nice. Congrats to Nico.
Congrats to Nico, what a legend. That's his first podium, isn't it?
Yeah, could be.
And just look at his little daughter's reaction when she saw her dad on the podium.
Nico Hulkenberg is still lifting.
Lando Norris, on the other hand, gave us one of the funniest moments in Formula One. At the 2023 Hungarian GP, the driver ended up doing this.
For all those people out there who like a bit of satire, let's watch it again, let's remind ourselves. Goes for the smack!
He even gave an interview afterwards saying it was Max's fault.
P2. No, I just, that's my celebrations to hit the bottle. Max put his trophy in the wrong place.
It's Max's fault then, isn't it?
It's Max's fault.
When he comes round, I'll have a word.
I've already told him it's his fault.
Now check out Max's reaction when he found out about it.
You said it was my fault.
She blamed you, it wasn't me.
I gave you a yellow card.
You said it was his fault.
Red card.
You said it was his fault.
That was you.
It was me.
Yeah.
I think I should just get the trophy.
I just said here as well.
Meanwhile, Oscar Piastri was smarter and did this when he saw Lando Norris approaching with the bottle near the trophy. But if Norris broke a trophy, Kimi Antonelli broke records with the first podium of his career. At the 2025 Canadian Grand Prix, the young driver got his very first podium, finishing in 3rd place. And to celebrate, he got a proper champagne shower. And the detail that makes it even more special, he became the 3rd youngest driver in history to step on an F1 podium. The first one, of course, Max Verstappen, who was even there to congratulate the kid. But nothing beats this scene. After his win in Imola in 2022, Verstappen showed up completely drunk. The 1993 Adelaide Grand Prix wasn't just a race, it was the farewell of one of the greatest in history. Alain Prost had already secured his 4th world title, but that would be his last appearance in Formula One. What no one expected was the scene on the podium. Ayrton Senna, his greatest rival, pulled Prost onto the top step and made a point of honouring him. From the emotion of Prost's farewell to Daniel Ricciardo pulling off the collective shoey, he took one of the most memorable victories of his career after an epic battle with Max Verstappen. But what went down in history wasn't just the race, it was the celebration. At the 2013 Brazilian Grand Prix, Mark Webber had his last race in Formula One history, and of course the day was full of emotion. The driver had a solid performance, finishing second only behind his teammate Sebastian Vettel. But maybe the most talked about scene was the podium moment. Check out what happened. Now let's talk about a celebration that could have ended in tragedy. That day, Michael Schumacher had just won the Monza GP, tying Ayrton Senna, his idol, in a number of victories. It was an incredible moment, and Schumacher got so emotional that he even cried at the press conference afterwards.
Sorry.
Thanks, Michael.
But he wasn't the only one who got emotional. The whole crowd got carried away with the win and simply stormed the track. Some people even touched Schumacher's car while it was still moving, which besides being crazy, also put everyone's lives at risk. Luckily, no one got hurt. Meanwhile, Sergio Perez lived a movie-like script in 2020. At that year's Sakir Grand Prix, he pulled off a spectacular recovery during the race. He started in P5, but after a collision with Leclerc, he dropped to last place. Well, this is where the story begins. Perez pulled off one of the most emotional comebacks in Formula One history. He went from last place to crossing the finish line in first. It was his first ever F1 victory, and the emotion was huge. The victory was decisive for Perez's future in F1. With his 2021 future uncertain and rumours of a possible retirement, that heroic win in Sakir completely changed the picture, catching Red Bull's attention and securing his continuation for the following season. At the 2016 Australian GP, Sebastian Vettel decided to do this. Yeah, the presenter got completely soaked on the podium. Here Vettel chose to let loose in a different way. At the 2017 Hungarian Grand Prix, he won the race and did a little dance that went viral. Esteban Ocon smiled like never before in Monaco when he reached the most important podium of his career. But it was during the celebration that we got a scene I'm sure you didn't see on the main broadcast. This win by Schumacher at the 2003 San Marino Grand Prix was marked not by joy, but by pain. Just hours before the race, news came that Michael and Ralf Schumacher's mother had passed away. Even so, both decided to race at Imola. Michael finished the race in first, followed by Kimi Räikkönen and Rubens Barrichello completing the podium. Ralf finished fourth, but still managed to honour his mother in the race. On the podium, no one opened champagne. The atmosphere was heavy. Both Schumacher brothers left the circuit immediately after the ceremony, making this one of the saddest victories in Formula One history. At the 2000 German Grand Prix, Rubens Barrichello achieved his dream, that long-awaited first victory. He started in P18 and winning seemed impossible. On top of that, his teammate Michael Schumacher had to retire from the race after an accident. And on the same day, there was the famous scene of a track invader that stopped the race. But even with all that, nothing stopped Rubens Barrichello. With a series of incredible overtakes, the Brazilian driver managed to cross the finish line in first place. But Spa 2019 was a race of victory and mourning. The day before, driver Antoine Hubert, a close friend of Leclerc, had died in a tragic Formula 2 accident. Even shaken, Leclerc took his very first Formula 1 win. When Leclerc crossed the finish line, he didn't raise his arms or celebrate, he just bowed his head. On the radio, his voice could barely come out from so much emotion. In Mexico in 2017, Max Verstappen won the race, but what caught everyone's attention was the podium moment with Kimi Räikkönen.
Max Verstappen's authority on Formula One as well. Led the pack.
And speaking of a show, F1 lived through a spectacle of emotion with Lando Norris's very first victory. After so many races coming close, Lando Norris finally won in Formula One and jumped into the crowd to celebrate. The party was massive, and on the podium, Norris's emotions showed just how much this win meant. Back in 2017 in Japan, Daniel Ricciardo decided to grab Hamilton's phone and left him some surprises. This might be the most symbolic victory of Senna's career. After 7 failed attempts and the weight of never winning at home, Ayrton Senna finally had his chance to conquer Brazil. In 1991 at Interlagos, he was leading the race when his gearbox started failing. He lost several gears and had to finish the race almost entirely in 6th gear. The driver faced the most painful race of his career. With unbearable pain, barely able to hold the wheel, Senna fought against his own body and a broken car to finally break the Interlagos curse. When he crossed the finish line, it wasn't just another victory, it was the end of a drought that had haunted him. On the podium, he could barely lift the trophy, but the deafening roar of the Brazilian crowd, finally able to celebrate their idol at home, made all the pain and all the waiting worth it. 30 years later, another historic showdown. Verstappen and Hamilton arrived tied in Abu Dhabi. That was the moment Max Verstappen changed Formula One history. After a whole season filled with battles against Lewis Hamilton, the two came into the last race tied on points, something that hadn't happened in nearly 50 years. Everything would be decided in Abu Dhabi at the final checkered flag, and that's exactly what happened. With the controversial safety car call, Verstappen got the chance to attack Hamilton on the final lap. The Dutchman didn't waste it. He overtook his rival and won his very first world title in dramatic fashion.
Far enough back, he's going to make the lunge down the inside. Hamilton sees it coming. It's a late lunge by Verstappen, who takes the lead of the race.
But the part few people saw was the backstage celebration of this historic moment. The team was on the edge until the win was sealed.
Going to make the lunge down the inside. Hamilton sees it coming. It's a late lunge by Verstappen, who takes the lead of the race. Off Max Verstappen. Mercedes not happy. Red Bull will be delighted. They have shared a brilliant championship battle.
On the radio, Max was screaming, crying, and thanking the team.
Yes! Yes! Oh my God! Yes!
And here, the cameramen managed to capture a beautiful shot of Vettel celebrating his title. At the 2020 Turkish Grand Prix, Lewis Hamilton started from 6th, and it looked like he was in for a tough race. But in the rain, he delivered one of the greatest performances of his career, won with authority and secured his 7th world title. And it was on the radio where the Michael Schumacher's record and cemented himself as a true Formula One legend. In 2018, Hamilton gave us one of the most iconic Formula One celebrations. The driver said he had always wanted to do it and felt that was the perfect moment. Now, this celebration is even touching to watch. Just look at Vettel's respect and reverence for his car. Now, what happened at the 2016 Monaco Grand Prix broke the hearts of Ricciardo's fans. He started from pole, dominated the entire race, and had everything to win. But when it came time for the pit stop, the team simply wasn't ready with the tyres. That unbelievable Red Bull mistake handed the victory to Lewis Hamilton. On the podium, Ricciardo couldn't hide his frustration. Now let's move to a recent case. At the 2025 Italian Grand Prix, the Red Bull car wasn't at its best, but even so, Verstappen managed to win, once again showing his talent. But it was on the podium that the unforgettable moment came. The crowd started singing the famous song. And in 2024, while celebrating his 4th world title, he also decided to enjoy his own music. But nothing tops a dream truly coming true. Charles Leclerc finally won at home in Monaco. For years, Charles Leclerc dreamed of shining at home, but every time he raced in Monaco, something went wrong. Crashes, accidents, penalties, it felt like a curse. Until finally, the day came.
First time in 93 years, this fabled race is won by one of their own. Charles Leclerc wins the Monaco Grand Prix.
We won it! Finally!
Yes! 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 Yes!
The emotion was indescribable. The kid who once watched races from his balcony was now the city's hero, and that podium celebration went down as one of the greatest in Formula One history. Want to know more about his story? Click on the screen and watch the special documentary about Charles Leclerc's career.